Hi, Dave. Thank you so much for taking this time today to share with us short feedback. And just to start, was there any specific reason why you decided to reach out to Houston and Co. for support in the beginning?
Not at that point, not at that point, but I jumped on a call with Claire immediately, not immediately, but pretty soon after that. I also brought my partner because I thought that was interesting to her as well. And we wanted to know how you guys at Houston and Co. actually operate, because we have some experience with freelancers, some good, some less good. And it was interesting to us to learn how you guys actually do this.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. And Dave, could you please share with us some of those initial hesitations that you had before you started working with us and were thinking how this is going to work?
Yeah, I can not only talk for myself, I can talk for most of the CEOs that we work with and that I talk with, because one of the big problems that everybody has, whether they work with freelancers or with hired staff, is to find the people that actually take responsibility for what they do and who don't need to be controlled every step of the way. I mean, everybody talks about micromanagement, but it is a pandemic, if we can use that word still in these times. And the problem with people who do some work, but then don't really take the responsibility for everything they do, or don't want to make bigger decisions and always play it safe, is that you never get out of the rut. Like, you never get the freedom that you need as a business person or as the leader of a business. And that was most probably my most important concern, because I wasn't looking for another freelancer that might need my help every step of the way.
And Dave, do you think we managed to address these concerns? And asking this because looking at the scope of projects that we ended up working on compared to the initial plan, actually.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about what might have made me hesitate in the beginning. One thing is that there is less expensive freelancers out there. And then, of course, I knew from experience, as I said before, that the price alone doesn't really make the whole thing. So I was really interested in understanding how you would help me not to have to deal with all the problems that I had in other freelancer relationships, and you did that marvelously. I mean, I'm privileged to also work with both of you from time to time, and then with your team, and you also help me whenever there is something to be managed, and it just works great. Yes.
And one of my favorites, would you mind highlighting what are those advantages and also just differences between working together with Houston & Co. and with other freelance platforms or other agencies, so to say?
I don't see you as a freelancing platform. First of all, I don't need to look for freelancers. If I need somebody or a specific skill, you look for that skill, or you already have it on your team. And that is a very important thing for me, because managing people, finding people, figuring out which of the 50 people that claim to be perfect at their job, and all of them have great reviews on Upwork, for instance, it just takes a lot of time. And it's not about time only, it's also about the energy. And this is something that really drains me. Like, when I have to look at all these informations, it takes about 15 minutes in my case. That's just my personality, and I'm done. Like, I don't even want to move forward anymore. So you help me with that, you find the right people, and then you also help me to manage the person, or basically most of the times you even manage that person without needing a lot from me, and that's just a big thing.
It's a real pleasure to hear such a positive feedback. Thank you so much, Dave, for sharing. And yeah, one of the last questions is, now that you have experience working with us, who do you think would benefit mostly from a support like ours, bringing a team like ours along and obtaining that kind of support?
Collaboration with you takes some level of organization, or at least the willingness to build processes, to start automating or semi-automating things. And I think that's very important. If a person just wants to be chaotic, stay chaotic and never change a thing, but everybody should clean up behind them, I don't think that would be the right kind of person. So understand what you can source out, understand that this should happen several times a week, let's say, not just once a month, so that it is something that is repeatable, that can build into a process. You're really great at building processes. And I also appreciate the questions that I get from you. So you don't just say, okay, you told me this, take the briefing and run with it. No, you challenge it all the time. And I think that's super important and a big part of the value that I get. And another person who wants to work with you should want the same thing.
And also to reflect on our collaboration, I think we have set up also really good communication channels, set up great processes together, and that definitely helps flow of information and efficiency. So definitely thumbs up from you, and thank you so much for that. Yeah, is there, Dave, anything else that I haven't asked? Anything that you would love to share with the listeners?
Compared to how my life was before I started to work with you, I feel more successful. I feel that I have more energy. It's a great experience that there are so many tasks that I can just hand over to you, and I don't need to think about that anymore. One partner that I work with really knows about how the human brain works, and he says it's not about managing your time, it's about managing your energy. And if you want to manage your energy, you need to know what you're really good at, what you're a natural at, and basically outsource most of the rest, because the rest is what drains you. The rest is what is the problem. It's not the hours that you put in so much. It's much more the things that you shouldn't be doing because it's not really a match with your personality. And that is something that the collaboration with you has given me, or much more of it. And that's what I appreciate. It's a relief. It's, as I told you before, I feel more successful. We're moving forward pretty fast. I need to run behind you sometimes because you and the team basically bring in new contacts, for instance, and you do stuff at a speed that I wasn't really experiencing in the past. So I also need to step up my game because you're in the business right now.
Dave, these are excellent words to conclude our conversation. Thank you so much for sharing today. And we really look forward to continued collaboration with you and your project.
Me too. Thank you. Thank you, Paula.